A lot of American women in their early 20s can barely operate a microwave, and they're calling those Eastern women undedicated. I've seen one American woman aged 23 ruin a cup o' noodle, and another aged 24 try and make chicken. It was burned on the outside and raw on the inside. Look up streamer cooks up a small fire. This is a grown woman, educated, with her fancy engineering degree, born and raised in America. It really doesn't make sense when these Western women start attacking women abroad for stealing their men. Those men were never yours to begin with. They'd rather be where they're respected, and that's something you failed to provide them with. The best part is that these women have no idea how their thoughts, actions, and words undermine every woman in countries outside of the West. They have this mentality that reminds me of liberal or pre-1960s white people that we read about in history books, where they believe with their souls that every other woman is beneath them, dumber than them, and weaker than them in every way. This superiority complex of other women receiving more irks their souls, and it shows through their belittlement of women of the East. For all the talk about the sisterhood, the claws truly come out when one gains while the other doesn't. To be honest, it doesn't matter what women think about what men are doing. Consenting adults are making choices, and it's no one else's business. There is literally no shortage of other more pressing issues that women have to worry about, and yet, all they do is complain about men going abroad. And the fact is that women overseas are not victims. They are Western women's greatest competitors, and as a rule, Western women will only end up acting in ways that will drive men away even more than they are already. Modern women, well, only some of them, have actually started saying that passport brothers make sense for men. Still, most women are mad at them for leaving them behind and decreasing their demand in the market. First, women wanted men to be chivalrous and lead their lives. When men did that, they started calling for their freedom. Then came feminism. Women started getting equal opportunities in employment and had the chance to be able to split the bill 50-50. They had a problem with that too. Then they wanted equality, but then had issues doing the same jobs that men did. When men got tired of them and started rejecting them, they started complaining about why there were no good men out there, all the while rejecting men left, right, and center. And when men started traveling abroad for peace and to hopefully find decent women, these women totally lost it. It seems to me that there's nothing that can make modern women happy. The whole Passport Brothers movement is a direct result of women not appreciating the men who are around them. Men are now tired of being with modern women and handling their delusions. What's a brother got to do around here to make a Western woman happy? Nothing, it seems. Typical American or Western women feel they are entitled to certain things. They want the red carpet rolled out for them every day. They want us to understand that no can mean yes, no can also mean not yet, and yes can always mean no. If we make even one mistake, we'll be branded as cowards, and ladies don't appreciate cowardly guys. That is terrible news, since it means the woman is dead and gone. Any misstep could lead to accusations of assault. Although some American men have figured it out, the vast majority have given up and gone on to simpler pastimes, such as dating women from other nations. Because of their lack of economic security, women in developing nations rarely display entitlement as the women in the West do. When they do, they become completely devoted to their new leader, yearning for his company and support in every way possible. Women in these countries aren't embracing womanism because of economic limitations. In their culture, men have not provided equal rights and opportunities for women, and neither has society allowed women the option to choose to be feminists. In their most fundamental form, men just want to feel appreciated. There is now completely zero appreciation for women. They believe they are entitled to a certain level of consideration simply because they are female. I can't remember the last time I did something good for a woman, and she thanked me for it. My counsel to men has always been to follow their own paths. Either embrace your individuality or learn to fit in where you are needed. I wonder if American women, assuming largely white middle-class women, have migrated toward interracial experimentation in the same manner that American males have over the years. I hear more about Western women's tourism to Black Africa and the Caribbean than to Latin America or Asia looking for physical intimacy. The Passport Brothers community has been in existence for a while. It even dates before the advent of YouTube and social media. It has always had a strong Black community, and we all know countless guys who move to other countries in search of better partners, better value for their time, better systems, and a better standard of living in general. However, not all that shines is gold. I know there are hundreds of black dudes who dream of going to Brazil, Colombia, or the Dominican Republic. But the reality once you get there hits you in the face and wakes you up to reality. Sure, you might have known someone who went there and is now living a life we all want to live. But have you ever thought about the process? There's so much to it. You have to get a visa for most countries, and then you have to make sure there's safe accommodation that can live up to your standard of living. Once you're there, you have to take care of the paperwork. You might have a language barrier. You might not get the food you're used to, and you might not even find decent work. Sure, you might get a nice woman who's interested in you and not interested in the color of your passport, but that's very rare. If you do find someone like that, congratulations. But you will still have to face the rest of the problems that everybody else faces, such as lack of security, more pollution, a corrupt police and justice system, and people trying to exploit you all the time. So when you hear about a woman being submissive in the West, people lose their minds and call it oppression, when in fact, it is a woman who's agreeing to specific values expected from her and what she expects from her man. Another thing that Western society gets wrong about Eastern culture is that since the woman is submissive, the man must be a tyrant and oppressive. That is incorrect. If a woman is being submissive, believe me, she's only being submissive because her man makes sure he provides for her, gets her the food she wants, makes sure she has money in her bank account, makes sure she has everything she needs to go about her day, including a car, and that she always has help around the house. It's a huge responsibility that Eastern men take on. Frankly speaking, Eastern women agree to be submissive to Western men because they know the Western man can actually afford her being submissive, because having a submissive Eastern woman isn't free. She does that because it creates the perfect balance between a man and a woman. He leads, she nurtures, he protects, she gives love and warmth, and honestly, that is what an empowered woman really is like. I think the West still has a lot to learn from the East, but will only do so if it gets off its high horse. It really doesn't make sense for modern Western women to be upset at passport bros, or to be fixated on them like they currently are. Men will go wherever they get respect. Right now, they don't get that from modern women in the West. Being upset at these men isn't going to solve a single thing. Modern need introspection and self-reflection more than anything else, and respect the men around them if they don't want them to leave. The only reason these women are mad at the passport bros is because men are standing up saying you're not all that we've got. We've got a number of women to choose from worldwide, so we haven't got to tolerate your argumentative, arrogant selves anymore. Secondly, for the anti-passport bro women to say these women from these other countries are naive, vulnerable, and in impoverished circumstances is very low for them to stereotype these women, when in fact it is not the case. Lastly, the anti-passport bro brigade is just angry that their dating options are becoming narrower. They won't have a lot of men to reject, and that doesn't go well with polishing their egos. They say that a smart fisherman always looks elsewhere whenever the pool of fish they normally fish in isn't any good, especially with the possibility of getting better fish elsewhere. Therefore, those who don't are pretty much settling for less with whatever is available. Never stop broadening your horizons, and don't limit yourself to these modern women in the West. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. Comment and